Hello listeners, this is Lee Price.
This is Will Ford from Football 365.
And you're listening, smartly, to At the Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast, although I would describe it as the Chelsea FC podcast.
Magical from Eden Hazard! Kai Havertz in the Champions League final! Ivanovic! In the middle, it's just behind him, but it's tapped in by Hakim Ziyech. Matic with the ball driver! Matic takes the net off! Hat-trick hero! Cole Palmer wins an epic, sensational game!
It's time for another episode of At the Bridge Pod, your number one Chelsea FC podcast. Coming up on this episode...
Oh, well, Friday's episode was a bundle of laughs, so maybe this one will be as well. We're going to try our damn best. Oh, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of At the Bridge Pod. We're already there again. It's Monday. Oh, I'm joined in that virtual room with all the Lions. I've got Ollie, I've got Berth, I've got Chris, and of course, moments from the weekend team. What have we got lined up?
I did karaoke on Saturday. That was pretty cool.
What'd you sing? What's your song of choice?
There's a long pause there. Now everyone just seems shocked.
I think it's because I've accidentally shared my screen with everyone. I don't know how to turn it off.
No, I think I was just waiting for you to elaborate. I was like, I was interested. Tell the story.
I mean, if you want to go deep into it, I did do a variety of numbers, which I'm sure everyone was pleased to hear.
Go on. What was your favourite? What's your favourite?
What was my favourite? I think. Well, I started off pretty hot with Gangster's Paradise.
Oh,
nice.
Then I went to Like a Prayer by Madonna.
Oh,
and then
this man's got range, isn't he?
I finished with Adele, Someone Like You. So that was great.
Tune.
Wow.
I like A Little Respect by Erasure. That's my one.
Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one.
I would go with the entire soundtrack from High School Musical.
Nice, yeah. That's
I'll probably do that.
Back to back as well. In a row.
Oh, my word.
I saw Inside Out 2 this weekend.
I swear you already saw that. Or was that Birth? One of you's seen that.
I've not seen Inside Out 2.
Someone saw it. I don't know.
I haven't.
So that's one for the real listeners who are.
I might have said that story already. I can't remember or not, but I did see it, so you know that counts.
Hey, that's what matters. Chris,
decent movie.
What about you? Come on, you had a thing. We know you had a thing.
Yeah, I had that netball tournament on Saturday. We raised a lot of money.
Did you clean up, Chris?
I was absolutely knackered, mate. Honestly. And then having the game Sunday as well, after the game Sunday, I think it's physically the worst I've ever felt.
Oh,
I had such a headache. And, you know, when you just feel like even just being alive is tiring. It was like that.
Yeah, every day is like that.
It was good. It was good, though.
That's good.
Yeah, like I said, we raised a lot of money and it was a good laugh. So
that's the main thing.
That is
the main thing.
Yeah,
exactly.
we should all go down next year. We'll do it.
We should.
Why not?
We should.
I already told Chris about how I acted in last time I played netball when I was at school. No such thing as dribbling, Mike. Yeah, but it's not basketball. Yeah, but
you know what though? I have never, ever, ever, ever played netball, and for someone who's very sporty, I am quite surprised by that. Never played it.
You're probably still better than me because clearly I don't know the rules, even though I was repeatedly told that I was committing a foul.
Yeah, basically everything's a foul.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, in netball, everything's a foul. You can't even take a step with the ball.
No, that's true. That is true. That I do remember. Right. For me, last week I took everyone to the beautiful city of Parma. So this week I'm going to take you somewhere a little bit close to home. By close, it's a 5.5 hour drive for all of us here. It's the city of Perth, not in Australia. It's in Scotland. And St Johnston. We're playing Motherwell in the
this is amazing, by the way. This is so good.
And Motherwell, they managed to score a 90th minute winner. Oh, you love it. And a St Johnston fan, well, they let the Motherwell commentator know exactly how they felt. And with that, roll the thing.
Win it right to the death! Brilliant! Brilliant! St Johnston fans not happy in front of me. I don't care. St Johnson fans not happy.
There we go. St Johnstone fans absolutely delighted. I hope you picked that up.
Oh, it's still good.
That's pure Scotland, isn't it? Yeah. For our international listeners, Perth is also a city in Scotland.
Yeah,
Just in case any of you are confused.
And there's a fan over there who really wanted to ram a microphone up someone's ass. It was. Do we have commentary on our own games anymore? Do we remember when we had the fan zone? That was a cool thing.
I think we should
zone.
do commentary on our own games. I think that'd be great.
What, just us? That'd be. I mean, I would love that. My takes would go up and down. Oh, this is a great game. Chris is like, shut the fuck up, Mike. It's not. All right, okay. Well, right. We do. I best hit the news drop first. So when we left you on Friday, the transfer window was quietly being closed. It was kept ajar though for a few hours after the deadline, but the magic of deal sheets. So we have a roundup for you. So cue again. So let's cue the elevator music. Raheem Sterling has joined Arsenal on a season-long loan. Sterling agreed to a wage cut as part of the loan deal. The wage split is meant to be 50-50, no loan fee. Everton have signed Armando Broja on loan for the 24-25 season with a 30 million option to buy next summer. Someone had to, I guess. Trevor Chalobah has joined Crystal Palace on a season-long loan, no option to buy again. Jadon Sancho has joined Chelsea on a season-long loan with an obligation to buy, set at 20 to 25 million. This will be triggered if the Blues finish 14th or higher in the Premier League. You never know. And finally, João Felix and Jadon Sancho have accepted significant pay cuts to take their chances at an ambitious club, apparently, willing to bet that they can bring their prime back in their career as they enter their whatever stage of their career, primes. So, overall, guys, I mean, what were your thoughts on those stories and just our window as a whole? Because we signed a couple of players.
I think if we hadn't signed Sancho and Felix, I think it would have been a very, very mediocre transfer window. I don't think.
Ollie's still here. You know, he's not.
No,
he's going to push back on that. He's pushing back on that.
I'm not going to say that it's an amazing window with them in it, but I'm saying I think it's made it a bit better. But I think if we hadn't signed them, it would have been very, very mediocre at best.
Honestly, I think this says a lot about our business this summer. I think Felix is one of the best players we signed this window.
Bloody hell!
Yeah,
wow. He probably is though. He probably is.
I genuinely without. I know Esteval was technically this window, wasn't it? So without him,
that's next window.
No, but like it's all paid. It's gone through
officially.
So like, if you're going to count it for this year, like unless you're picking him, I think it's been the worst window in ages. If I'm honest, no needle movers across the board. I don't know. Sometimes you need some. I feel like we've still got some real positions of need within the squad, like especially at centre forward. We really needed that different profile, something a bit different. Didn't have to be Osimhen, could have been, Tony or Duran or anyone else who has that kind of different kind of profile that we were looking for. Feel that we've got some key issues now in key areas of the squad, specifically striker and goalie, and everything else is kind of all right. But those two positions are where a lot of games are won and lost. So. I don't know. It doesn't stand us in the best stead, I think.
Chris, we signed Pedro Neto, João Felix, Kiernan Dewsbury Hall, Philip Jorgensen, Mike Penders. He's a goalkeeper, by the way. Aaron Anselmino, Renato Vega, Caleb Wiley, Mark Gu, Tosin, and Jadon Sancho. Well, I mean, what do you think overall?
No needle movers, man. Needle's not moving.
Pedro Neto's pretty good.
Neto is probably the best.
When fit, but I'm sure he'll stay fit.
Probably is. Neto's a very good buy.
So I think we've signed some good players. I think Neto, Felix, Sancho are probably the standout players. The reason why I think it's been a terrible window is because I think we only needed 3 players, and we needed a top-class keeper, an experienced top-class centre-back, and a centre-forward. And those was the only 3 things we didn't get. So,
yeah, and we got 2 attacking midfielders, 3 wingers.
Yeah.
We didn't play,
so,
we just didn't need them.
I just think it's been another summer of a lot of signings, half of which was completely unnecessary. And I think we've got to stop doing it now. I know it's been like a running joke amongst rival fans about Chelsea have got to stop spending money and got to stop buying players, but they are right. Next summer, we cannot sign 12 players again.
I don't think
Because
we
it's
will be allowed.
pointless. It's stupid.
We've got
I think
Estevao and Kendry players coming.
We're
Is that
going
a
to have a
point
transfer
now?
ban anyway, Chris. Don't worry about it.
I think that's
To
true.
be fair, I actually said this to my dad during the game yesterday. I think the best thing that could happen to this ownership
Yeah,
would be a transfer ban.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
I think they've already been prepped on it. I think because obviously we know they've put forward the dodginess of the certain previous ownership's accounts, and we've self-reported. Like it or not, we will get punished for those.
Yeah. So although I think some of the players that we've signed will probably turn out to be okay, I just don't think we signed the three most important things that we needed.
I look back on it, for me, in the classic ATB style of winners and losers. I've got, for me, winners were, we reduced the wage bill. We sold Romelu Lukaku. We actually sold him. We did not loan him. I'd have to look at the loan fee, see what it actually adds. It won't add up to even close to 97 million, but yeah. And we signed a lot of attacking talent there. You know, we got Pedro Neto, João Felix. I can't say Dewsbury Hall because I'll get mocked on this. And Jadon Sancho, so that's pretty good. Losers, I think, forcing Gallagher and Trevor Chalobah out. That's still going to be a loser for me. Doesn't matter whether you like them, loathe them, think they're overrated, underrated, properly rated. How we did it was not, no one liked that. No, it left a bad taste. And Chris has actually touched on it. For me, the biggest loser was actually not signing a world-class centre-back. That for me, I know we've got Fofana coming back from fit and all that, but for me, we did need that. We lost Silva, and he might not be world-class now physically, but his mindset and his football IQ was world-class. Still world-class. That's a big loss for me.
I think we needed a keeper more than we needed.
We have one.
Yeah, that's true. And Jorgensen still could turn out to be good. He just he hasn't proved to move the needle yet, and that's fine. But he just he wasn't signed to do that.
Yeah,
right? But
and Osimhen decided to go to Galatasaray. That came out of nowhere today. I thought, hey,
it's a weird one, isn't it?
That's
honestly,
weird.
If I was Osman, I would be punching my agent in the head. That seems like a really weird thing to do.
That's definitely an agent thing. And okay, look, I haven't forgot this. And on Sunday, Nicolas Jackson extended his contract by 2 years, committing him to the club till 2033. That's 9 years, people. By then, I'm going to have a house, some kids. My kids might even be signing for Chelsea for the academy in 9 years. I mean,
that's a long service, Admiral.
I mean, losing Antonio Rudiger and Christensen on frees really has traumatized this ownership to the core. I imagine every time they see either name, they have flashbacks whilst Fortunate Son plays in the background because it's really screwed them over. I mean, I still can't believe to this day we lost both. Oh my word. And I know people would mock Christensen, but both of them are still very good defenders and we lost them for nothing. Oh,
something I want to touch on here. You know what you were saying about they've reduced the wage bill?
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people giving a massive credit for reducing the wage bill. And I would too, if they'd managed to do it and still sign top class players, but they haven't. It's easy to reduce a wage bill when you sign average players because they don't want as much money.
The thing is as well, the annoying thing is with football is it's not like there isn't a correlation between how much you pay your players in wages and how well they do in the league. If you look up the statistics to it, it's pretty much like just a straight line that shows that the more you pay your players, the better you do.
Yeah.
And so us reducing the wage bill in that sense, obviously it has the chance to grow as the team grows, and so we'll be paying more as we go, hopefully when players perform. But you do worry about for right now, don't you?
But the thing is, that's why we're never going to sign anyone then again who's 28 because they're not going to sign an incentivized contract because they won't be here long enough to see the benefits of it.
You are right.
I think the problem is though, I think take Lukaku for instance, I wouldn't want to sign someone for 90 odd million on 300k a week and then them just be shit or them not want to be
That's
there.
The risk you take though. I'd rather signing, isn't it?
You 100%, but I'd almost rather be in a position where you buy someone for 30 million, they're younger and they're on less wage. I'd rather do that than spend ridiculous amounts of money on someone that is just going to flop and they're
I-
29,
oh, yeah.
30. You know what I mean?
I get that,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I think if we're only going to sign players who are, 30 to 40 million, will accept a contract on peanuts that it goes up every year. We're never going to close the gap then on the top teams because you're not going to do it that way. Every other club who's had a wage structure has had to break it at some point. Liverpool, they had a very strict wage structure. They had to break it when they offered Salah a new contract. They had to, otherwise he wouldn't have stayed, and they wouldn't have been anywhere near where they are now if he'd gone. They broke it with Van Dijk as well. Arsenal, they've had to do it when Saka signed a new contract. They had to break their wage structure, otherwise he would have gone. You can only have a wage structure if you're not willing to sign big players, or when your players get to big player status, you're willing for them to go. That's the issue that I have. At some point, we'll have to break this wage structure.
I suppose
Yeah.
the difference is, though, is if we do have to break it for one of our players who's already here, right, then like it will be worth it because they will have proven
That
it
is a
here.
good point. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
But there's a knock-on effect, isn't there?
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. Let's say, in 2 years' time, Cole Palmer's had another 2 brilliant seasons, and he says, listen, I want a pay increase now. And we have to offer him 250 grand a week for him to stay, otherwise he's going to force for a move, right? So we put him on 250 grand a week. If you then want to sign someone who's 27 in their prime, coming from Real Madrid, they're going to look at it and they're going to go, well, I want what he's on because I'm as good as him. Now, whether they turn out to be that good for us is, we won't know, will we? But they would demand the same amount of money. So then that's where your wage structure falls apart. I think this is why Liverpool struggle to make signings now, because if they want to sign someone who's top class, they're going to want Salah's money, and they're not willing to give it. So that's why they end up signing Chiesa for 12 million quid.
That's the cycle of football, though, isn't it? Your team gets better, you pay them more, and then eventually it all collapses and you have to start again on the low end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. It's time for the match report, sponsored by the Mail's online article, and it was titled, "Sorry, Nana Madueke, you're wrong. Wolverhampton is not shit. Here are 5 reasons why." I didn't read it. So anyway, Chelsea won, Crystal Palace won. Winners and losers time. We kick off.
I really said, didn't ask.
We kick off with the winners as always. Who you got? How many have you got? Chris?
I've got 3 and 3.
I've got 3 and 3.
I got 2 and 3.
I got 2 and 4.
Shock. Absolutely.
He's got 6. He's only
It adds up to 6, mate.
Yeah, I've let the team down with
I
just
couldn't find 3 winners. Honestly, I really tried.
I found
find
2
3
winners. And you know what? I'll say my first winner was actually the opening goal, because I refused to not give credit to everyone that was part of that goal, because it was
a great goal.
It was an outstanding moment. You had Levi Colwill, he broke up a Palace attack. He sees Madueke, passes it to him. Madueke, he's got all the swagger right now. He beats his man, dribbles up the right channel, passes the ball into Palmer. He's in that little half space. Times a perfect ball. Nicolas, 20-31 Jackson, scores. Counter-attack football is what I bloody love. Flowers to all of them. Flowers to them all.
Was a great
very good goal. Very good goal.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't
really,
possession
really nice
football, was it?
You know what? It was really nice to score a goal like that. That wasn't, that's not individual brilliance. That's not just like someone just taking the game by the scruff of the neck and doing something. It was really nice to see us score a goal where everyone was involved, everyone knew their role, and everyone did the right thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Chris, who was one of your winners that you really struggled to find? Because it's got to be a good one.
Nicolas Jackson.
He's on mine as well.
Nicolas Jackson is turning into what Tammy Abraham was. Remember when we had Abraham and he was scoring, but everyone still liked to slag him off all the time?
Mm-hmm.
And then there was like, oh, he's not good enough. I don't care if he's scoring 14 Premier League goals. He's not good enough. He'll never be good enough for us. Then he went, and we still haven't had anyone better. So I think Jackson's the same. Like he's scored 2 goals in 3 games and got an assist. He has 3 goal involvements in 3 games. And after this game, all I saw was negative stuff about Jackson, about how he's not good enough. And if he scores that second chance, we win the game. Which I want to say, that second chance, if The only people who think that's an easy chance are people who have never played football before.
Agreed.
Yeah, I didn't.
Because
I didn't get that take.
He never had the ball fully under control.
No.
It was bouncing. The angle was tight. He did everything right. The keeper made a really good save. Sometimes you just say, "Well done, keeper."
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't a poor finish. The keeper just made a really good save. He did everything right. I don't understand what more people want from Jackson. Like his link-up play is really good. He gets other people playing well. He scores probably half of the chances that he has. People talk like the other strikers in the league finish every single chance they get, and that just isn't true. If you look at most, even the top strikers' conversion rate, it's around 25%. That's what it is. That's normal.
Do you know what I found really
26
strange?
in 48 is total career
Not
so
bad,
far.
is it?
Yeah.
That's
Not
bloody
bad.
awesome.
He's had something like 16 in 38 for Chelsea, something like that. Like it's been really good. I don't understand the negativity towards Jackson when Noni missed 2 better chances than that in the game, and nobody said a word.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can't disagree. Berth, they've already said Jackson, but who was your other winner?
So yeah, I obviously said Jackson as well because I thought he was. I think he's just a very underrated player, and I think he's got more more Premier League goals that aren't penalties than like Saka and Salah since like last year, since the start of the year, something ridiculous like that. And I think people need to start putting respect on his name. And this might be controversial and could be a hot take, but I think he's actually better than Tammy Abraham as well.
Yeah. You know what? I could actually
I would say
overall,
overall, I think he is because
overall
he's a lot better.
Yeah, but anyway, my second winner is Levi Cole. Actually, I thought
he was one of mine.
I thought he played very well. Probably one of the best performances I've seen from him in a long, long time. I'm sometimes a bit harsh on him, to be honest, because I know he can be excellent. But he was good with the ball at his feet, commanded that penalty box, won his aerial duels, won a lot of tackles, got us on the front foot. And I don't think he did much wrong, really. I mean, the goal from Eze is just a fantastic goal, so there's not really much he could do about that. But yeah, I thought it was and for Fofana, to be fair, I thought Fofana played quite well as well. But yeah, I thought Cole just edged it over him. So yeah, we'll give it to him.
Ollie, who's your second winner? Unless you want to expand on Cole for a minute.
I was actually I'll be talking about my first winner because
Ollie didn't have Jackson, did you?
I'll talk about Levy for a minute though, because him and Fofana were like, I put them in a group as my first winner. Just because I thought between them, I thought they had a really strong game. Fofana was, rushing out and doing everything that he had to do. He was also getting us started on the attacks, like rushing up the pitch and whatnot.
Yeah.
I think he was even playing right back at times towards the end of the game. Like, but he was doing a lot, and I really thought his performance was very good. But I thought Colwill in particular was excellent. Like Berth said, the way that he collected the ball and started attacks for us and stuff, it was really important to the way that we played, and we would have lost this game without both of them, I think. So I think it's worth talking about them. My second winner was one I think a little bit less talked about, actually. Moises Caicedo.
He got man of the match from the Chelsea.
I haven't seen that many people actually talking about his performance, but he was absolutely everywhere. He was breaking absolutely everything up in midfield. He didn't. I don't think he got a yellow card. I think he didn't really even commit any fouls. Like his timing and everything for like sticking his boot in and winning the ball back was perfect. And so yeah, just deserves his flowers because I thought he had a good game where he shone above a lot of others. I thought.
Yeah. You know what? I'll round off my winners because I've only got one more. And it's Mykhailo Mudryk. Yeah, that's right. I criticise him. I criticise him when he's bad. But yesterday in that cameo appearance, he showed he had something. I know we keep saying it, but maybe he could be a super sub. Bring him on, change the game, use that pace. But for me, he was decent. He won a free kick. He played in Jackson for a chance. It wasn't bad. Someone's waiting for something negative. The only thing I could think of was I don't understand his Instagram. I don't need to. I don't need to care. Just if he performs like that, but in a bigger sample, I'll be happy. So there we go. How many winners have we all got, by the way?
I've got one left. I've
got one left as well.
Oh, you know what? We'll go snake draft it. It'll be Ollie, Berth, and then Chris. Ollie, who is it?
Final winner for me was Cole Palmer.
Yeah, same.
didn't
same for me as well.
didn't
Go
influence
ahead, go on.
didn't influence the game in the way that I thought he would or maybe ought to have. Didn't do too much on the attacking side, although got himself into some pretty good positions and was unfortunate in a couple of them to be just kicked to shit by Hughes all game. But specifically, what I actually really rated from Palmer was in the second half when we were really, really struggling in the game, and we were really struggling to get anything moving and get the ball going. Who was the deepest player on the pitch saying, "Give me the fucking ball. I'm going to do this myself"? It was Cole Palmer, and and we didn't have anyone else on the pitch. Yesterday, when after Palace scored, a lot of the players' heads dropped, and a lot of people sort of almost isolated themselves out of the game. And Palmer was one of the only ones who actually took responsibility and took the ball and tried to make things happen. And so he needs to be praised for that.
Anyone wish to expand on it?
Yeah, I mean, I think what's good about Palmer is obviously Ollie was absolutely right with all that. I think what's so good about him, and we've been lacking it for ages, that every time he's in a perfect position to pass or shoot or whatever, he always seems to make the right decision. Always seems to have the right weight on the pass. Always seems to have the right amount of curl on the ball to put it in the back of the net. The right sort of technique to hit the ball. Him in the final third is absolutely ridiculous. And I think he's, again, a bit like Jackson. I actually think he's underrated because at the minute he's playing on a level that he's arguably one of the best players in the league. And I honestly think from what I've seen so far, I think he's ahead of Saka at the moment. And that, again, could be a hot take, but I just think he is. I do like Saka, don't get me wrong, but I just think Palmer at the minute is just operating at a different level. But yeah, he works tirelessly for the team. And I think that gets understated a lot as well. Ollie was right. He's always showing for the ball. He's always wanting to drag the team out of the trenches sort of thing and say, right, give the ball to me. I'm good enough to get us upfield. I'm good enough to put in a pass from 30 yards, 40 yards. I'm good enough to get a goal. Give it to me. He's got that ego about him, which I absolutely love and Chelsea fans love. And he shows it every single minute of the game, every game. And that's why Chelsea fans love him. And that's why he's a star. So, yeah.
Right. Chris, you want to expand before we go to losers?
No, to be honest with you, I had it for exactly the same reason. I didn't think it was the best game we've ever seen him have, but I mean, he's still got an assist, which he's very clinical in the final third. Like Berth said, if he's
always makes the right decision.
If he has to make a decision, he makes the right one. 95% of the time, he makes the right decision. And I'm with what Ollie said. I really like the fact that he was the only one in the second half, I thought, who looked like he wanted to win the game and understood that we needed to win the game. And while everyone else was shying away, he stepped up.
Very fair. I mean, you've said it all. You've said it all. I agree fully, genuinely. He was outstanding. He really was. But he always is. That is the standard. That is the Cole Palmer standard. It's great to say it. Right. Of course, there's losers. And you know what? I don't know if anyone else will have him. I've got Malo Gusto.
I didn't have him.
I didn't have him either.
I have a reason before people get their pitchforks. He was one of our best players last season. He came in and he was told, okay, Reece is out, so you're up next. And he not only did a good job as our right back, he flourished because we all questioned if he would even permanently replace James on that side, and then you fast forward to present day and I just think, what a waste. What a waste. I mean, this inverted system nullifies his talents. 3 matches he's played in that role. 3 matches he has managed to create. Hang on, let me get my calculator out. Carry the 1. 0 chances. Why are we wasting him? This isn't a hard decision either for me. I mean, I'm looking at the other side of the pitch and I see, Cucurella, a player who thrives when inverted. Invert Cucurella. This is a situation. Why use a top quality knife to eat your soup when you have a perfectly good spoon available? And to top it off, he left the game injured. Oh.
I have a question for you though, Mikey.
Go on.
Do you think if Cucurella inverts, Colwill has to shift out to the left and he's not as good defending out wide? Do you think that's why that's happening?
That's a very good point.
It's a shame for Gusto though, because and I was thinking about this. I was thinking, remember, around about this time last year, one of the things we all said about Poch was he really improves fullbacks. One of his traits was he always made fullbacks better. Like most of the fullbacks had their best spells under him. Maybe Gusto was just one of them who Poch knew how to get the best out of him, and Maresca doesn't know yet how to do it. So we might see a drop off in Gusto this year.
He's still young though, isn't he? He's still really young. I
yeah.
think he's got all the tools to be able to turn this into a successful season for him.
But he hasn't hit the heights of last season yet.
Not yet.
No, but I think what I've got to understand is that he's also only 21 and he's still very young, still adapting to a new role. I'm
not bashing him. I'm saying that he's being wasted, so that's why he's a loser for me, because he's being wasted.
I agree. But I've seen on Twitter that a lot of people are bashing him at the moment, and I don't get why. I think, fair enough, he hasn't created as many chances recently, but getting used to a new manager, new system. I actually thought yesterday probably inverted better, the best he has done so far. I think in the final third, I think he was a bit wasteful, but I think yesterday, I thought in midfield, he looked relatively comfortable there. So hopefully he does get better. But yeah, I mean, him being injured is a big miss, really, because I feel like Disasi's very, very much wasted at right back.
It didn't look too bad, though, his injury. It looked like he just pulled something and he pulled up, like in his hamstring by the look of it. But he might have just pulled it or might have just been bad cramp. Like, we're not to know necessarily how bad it was yet. So let's hope for the best.
Chris, who's a loser?
Robert Sanchez.
Oh, that's harsh. I think that's harsh.
I didn't like the shot at the what was it, second half, when it bounced off his hands. I didn't like that.
Yeah, the one he tried to catch and
didn't like that,
and almost tipped it in.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Leg, that was shocking. And this isn't necessarily his fault because he's not a top class keeper. But I think if you put Alisson from Liverpool in goal, he saves the SA shot,
doesn't it? Yeah.
And I'll tell you why he saves the SA shot. Because if you watch the Liverpool-Man United game after, there was a moment in that game where Xerxes had the ball in the box and he only had one place to finish the ball. Based on where the defenders was and where he could get the ball through, he only had one place where he could finish, which was to curl it round into the far corner. And Alisson read that situation in a split second and already stepped that way and made the low save down to the left. Robert Sanchez, when you look at that play develop, when the ball falls to Eze on the edge of the box, the only place he can score is where he does. And Robert Sanchez doesn't move until Eze strikes the ball. And that's the difference between an okay keeper and a top-class one. A top-class keeper would have read that the only finish Eze had was the one that he tried. So he would have already been edging that way. And I think it wasn't far enough in the corner that a top-class keeper who would have already edged that way, I think they save it.
Do you know what? I was going to say that it was a bit harsh of you to put him as a loser, but when you put it that way, you've kind of converted me.
I don't know. I think that's still a bit harsh. I think Eze has scored an unbelievable goal there.
I think it is still a very good
goal.
It is a very good goal, but I would think I was previously of the notion that there was nothing Sanchez could have done about it, and maybe there was.
The thing is, it's another one of those goals where if it was Kepa in goal, everyone would have been bringing up that he's too short and he's conceded from outside the box again. Robert Sanchez is like 6'6", and he was at full stretch, and he wasn't that far away. If he took one step to his left a second earlier, I think he saves it. But he doesn't because he's not top class. He doesn't read the situation. He doesn't move until Eze strikes the ball. And a top class think back to Courtois when we had him. He saves that. I would bet my house that Courtois would have saved that shot.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Courtois would have saved that.
Maybe. I still think it's a tad harsh, but yeah, I see your point.
I don't think any other keeper in the league except Alisson saves it though.
No, that's true, and that's what I mean. That's what it is a bit harsh, but to be fair, he made the losers list when he almost dropped it in his own goal.
There we go. Right, Berth, who's a loser for you?
The officiating from the game.
Yeah.
I will touch on that myself in a minute, but go on.
Because it was just awful. Will you should have been sent off. It seemed like that was against all day. And it's an easy excuse to make when you don't win a game. But yesterday was bad. It was really, really bad. And a few of the players were getting frustrated. You could tell Palmer was getting frustrated. I mean, he picks up a yellow. How will use and get sent off? And you knew Palace knew he should have been sent off because they immediately hooked him.
Yeah.
So it's just like the refs these days are just, what can you say? It's just a bit of a shambles at the minute in this country, but never mind.
Well, on that, my actual loser was the referee, Jared Gillette. He was not the best the Prem could get. 90 minutes of football between two teams from London. And I left thinking Jared was the main event. It was a typical game in which we all say the referee made it all about them. Look, like Berth's right. Will Hughes on Cole Palmer. That's a second yellow card.
Yeah.
Jared either one, bottled the decision, or worse, two, thought it wasn't a yellow card offence.
He bottled it. He fully bottled it.
I mean, Berth said Glasner was as surprised as like everyone listening or watching and listening, that it wasn't a red because he hooked him straight after. And you're thinking, well, Mike, there was more to it. Yeah, there was. Kamada, he made 4 fouls. No caution. None. 2 of those were in a minute. No caution.
Yeah, in the first half.
I was just frustrated.
I don't know what he was playing at because he booked Neto for his first infraction as well.
Yeah, the same thing that Kamada did.
Palmer got booked for booting the ball away. I suppose that's a yellow these days, isn't it? But yeah, I thought the referee was really poor. I do want to say though on the refereeing that like we should have enough quality to get past Palace, even with the ref not being on our side.
Correct.
And I don't want to say that it's an excuse and a reason that we didn't win the game, but it didn't fucking help, did it?
It didn't. No, well, like VAR can't get involved in those decisions. It's like, what's the point then? You've got to do something there. We moan about VAR for many reasons, mainly because of that. So, Ollie, who's one of your losers?
Substitutions. I just thought generally, like, of every substitution that we brought on in the second half to try and change the game, all of them did absolutely nothing at all. I know you had Mudryk as a winner because he did a couple bits, and that's decent. Fair enough. He was okay, but like I didn't really think he offered all that much on the left hand side. World class João Felix didn't offer anything with half an hour on the pitch. And then Nkunku, I know he only got 10 minutes, but he's really flattered to deceive this season in his impact as well. So I just thought the substitutions generally from Maresca, it seemed like the right ones to make. They were the attacking subs we needed to go on and win the game. But I think actually the players let him down a little bit. Maybe the system we were playing at the end was a bit weird. You had Enzo at centre back and you had someone playing at right back and no one in midfield and like 4 players on the left or whatever. But for me, the players just didn't do enough when they came on to really warrant even being thought of to be brought on again next match,
Yeah, you're right. It still blew my mind. I mean, Henderson was in top form. He stopped so much, and I still stay. I said it in the group. I don't know how he stayed on because that's a concussion. That's got to be. He's out cold at what I saw. But again, it's just. I don't understand this concussion subs thing because it seems to be convenient. Because if this is player health and safety, and I just felt like it always seems to be the case where it's. You see something where you go, that's clear concussion, and yet the player plays on. It blows my mind, unfortunately.
If they had to do the concussion protocol thing, that like surely the player has to go off.
It has to be independent. It has to be independent. That's what they do in the NFL because you can't have any bias. You cannot, because this isn't like. Oh, it might weaken the team. This isn't about the team. This is about safety and health.
Yeah, we had that really bad one on Mudryk last season. Exactly. I don't know who remembers that. Like, and that kept him out for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, right. I'm going to go to Chris because I want to hear 2 of them because he's got 4.
For the first time ever, I'm going to say it might be a little bit harsh that he's on this list.
It's Enzo Fernandez.
Oh,
but it's Enzo Fernandez.
Oh, there you go. Listeners,
Wait,
you can tick it off on the bingo card.
Wait, and I'll tell you why. I actually think he had an okay game.
He was all right, I thought.
For everything he did outside of the final third. But if he's going to keep playing this far forward, he cannot keep breaking down our own attack so much by giving the ball away in the final third. There was at least 2 in the first half where we had a good exchange of passes. He got the ball on the edge of the box and gave it away. And it was like, I don't know why we keep getting him involved in the edge of the box. He's fucking crap in the final third. So I don't know why every manager keeps insisting on putting him there because he's crap there. But if he's going to play there, you have to judge him by a player you want in those positions then. And he keeps giving the ball away in crucial moments when it's got to be that final pass. He can't find it. And I just thought my other issue with him is if you're going to play that far forward, he's the first line of defence in midfield and he gets run by like a child. Like they brush him off like he's not. There was one where I can't.
He does
even remember.
defend like a ghost. Yes.
Yeah, I can't remember which Palace midfielder it was, but he was running with them. They went shoulder to shoulder, and he ended up on his arse. And as they was running off on the counter attack, he's lay on the floor, and it's like fuck me, like he's not being effective enough at either end of the pitch. So he's being asked to go and get involved further forward for some bizarre reason, and he's failing at that. And he doesn't help at the other end either. He's very good in the middle part. When we're on the ball and he's linking between the midfield and the attack, he's very good. But the defending side and the final third, he's absolutely awful.
I think that's a little harsh.
Yeah,
I think
it's
he had
harsh,
an all right
yeah.
game overall. I do agree with you. I think he does need to do more in both boxes. And arguably in the middle as well. But I thought yesterday, out of all the players, I don't know if he was one to single out for me.
Right, who's another loser then, Chris?
Maresca.
Yeah, he's on mine actually.
He's getting a lock on the losers list right now.
Struggling to build momentum. I think after the Wolves win, and then we went and lost to Servette, and then we've drew this game, and now it's an international break as well. I think we've really struggled to gain any sort of momentum at the start of the season. I thought his substitutions were bizarre, especially when Gusto got injured. What he did with the shape, I honestly couldn't tell you, because it seemed to me like he just put someone on and said, play where you want, lads. Because there was a moment where Enzo Fernandez was at centre-back. Wesley Fofana was on right wing. Yeah. And it was like, what the fuck is happening here? Cole Palmer was playing defensive midfield.
I know, that was bizarre.
I don't know what we're doing. And it was like, it was, to me, it seemed like a manager who the Gusto thing caught him off guard and he didn't know what to do. He was trying to win the game and it was, I'll just throw a load of attackers on and hope. And I think you see that so many times when managers need to win and they think the way to go about it is just throw all our attackers on and hope. That never works, because what happens is when you have so many attacking players on the pitch, they get in each other's way. So the balance doesn't work. The way you have to do it is you have to sustain pressure. And that's what Man United under Fergie was very good at it. That's what Man City are so good at now. Liverpool are so good at. When they need to win, what they'll do is they'll make a substitution which allows them to sustain pressure. So they never let the opposition out. So normally, sometimes you'll see Pep, he'll bring on an extra defensive player who's going to help them win the ball back in the other half, so the opposition can't counter-attack and relieve any pressure. So they pin them in, and eventually then they'll wear you down and they find a gap and inevitably score. Maresca went for the opposite. He still allowed Palace the threat on the counter because we didn't have any defenders. We only had Colwell and Fofana on. Everyone else was just doing what they wanted, it seemed. And I just think he lost control of the game because the Gusto injury caught him out.
Ollie, who's one of your losers? Or do two losers, why not?
No, so I've got my last one. It's mentality. When we were 1-0 up, everything was great. Football was good. Everything was looking good. Second it went to 1-1 and Eze got that goal, heads dropped. The mentality just fell out of the back of the bus, it felt like. And, from there, everyone, like I said, everyone's head was down. They were, not showing for each other. They were being quite selfish as well, trying to go for the winners. Like, I don't think I've ever seen fewer passes to like each other in terms of like their teammates in the final third than I did in like the last sort of 15 minutes of that game, when like everyone was starting to panic and everyone thought, I got to do this myself. I saw Noni did it, Palmer did it, Felix did it. I didn't see Mudryk do it, to be fair. Jackson did it. So I think then, because these guys are so young still, it's clear that that's a real gap in their mentality. When we concede, like, people's heads really do drop, and like it does affect our performance. So that just makes it all the more important for us to shore ourselves up defensively, but also to be able to ride that when we do actually, like, ride that mentality mentally when we do concede, so that in the future things are a little bit easier. Pochettino made us really resilient at that last season. Whenever we score a goal, we would go up the other end and we'd score two more. We did that really, really well. But it seems right now, maybe it's just because everyone's a little unsure. People don't quite know their roles yet. They're not confident in it. I don't know. But when other teams score against us, we start to struggle.
It's such a shame, though, because you are absolutely right, by the way. But we're saying the same things that we were saying this time last year. Like, you could go back and listen to our pods reviewing the first few games of last season, and they sound exactly the same.
Yeah, to be fair, the results were exactly the same.
Yeah, we're talking about the same stuff. But like you just touched on there, by the end of last season, actually, I thought mentally we was really strong. We came from behind to win games so often at the back end of last season.
That Man United game's a really good example of that.
Yeah, Nottingham Forest as well, away, 2-1 down, late on, managed to win that 3-2.
Won the game late against, was it West Ham? With Gallagher scored, I think. He won us the game.
Palace, wasn't it?
Crystal Palace, yeah. But I think over the course of last season, we'd managed to build a much stronger mentality. But then this is what happens when you go back to square one. And if you go back to square one in the summer by changing the manager, people either agree or disagree with that. Yeah. Whether you liked Potter or you didn't, the reality is when you sack a manager, you're back to square one, and you introduce 12 new players again. So all of those new players have come in. Their mentality isn't the same as the players from last season who had built it up so much. Some of the players who was involved in that, I dare say, aren't here anymore. Thiago Silva, Raheem Sterling, Chilwell, Gallagher, Chalobah. All of those players aren't involved anymore. And we've just gone back to exactly where we was this time last year, where we concede a goal and the team think, oh, fuck it, we've ballsed it up.
Yeah. I mean, I feel I should touch on my final lose. I mean, how many loses have we got left, by the way?
I've just got one.
I've got one as well, because Maresca's my second one.
All right, I'll do mine quickly. Mine's the Enzo and Caicedo partnership, because it doesn't work.
Give it up, baby, give it up.
It doesn't work. It never has worked. It never will work. But oh my God, we're going to keep forcing it to work, aren't we? I mean, Caicedo, he had a good game. Enzo, less so. But that isn't, before anyone gets and ready and goes, oh, you're bashing him. I'm not bashing either player. Put down the pitchfork. This is not an anti-Enzo stance. I can only comment on what I saw. They do not work well together. And in that second half, Enzo played further up and Palmer was further back. That alone, why are we forcing it together? It doesn't work. But of course, as we all know, there seems to be this thing that we have to keep forcing it because we spent 200 million. I would rather have Caicedo play there and we just accept that Enzo, he's too expensive to be a rotation. Then we sell him. But he's world class. That's great, but they can't work well together.
It's funny, isn't it? That
what do you want?
He's not good enough to be a starter, so we should bench him, so we should sell him, but he's world class. Those two things can't be the same.
If you remove Caicedo from that team, we're weaker.
It's the Gerrard Lampard thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Gerrard and Lampard couldn't play together. They didn't make either of them bad players. They just couldn't play together.
Exactly.
So it's that, but at club level, and we're doing exactly what England kept doing.
But he'll
back
ball
then.
out. He'll ball out at another club. That's what you'll hear. That doesn't matter.
To be fair, when Lavi is back, I think he'll play.
Yeah, but then Enzo will just go and play as a number 10 where he's crap.
Yeah. What we
That's the problem.
We won't have made any progress.
He might drop him.
He won't be dropped. They've made him captain, mate. There's no way he's getting dropped.
Which again is, I am so bored of this forcing the partnership. I'm just so bored. Berth, on board me with your loser.
Yeah, so my final one is the atmosphere at Stamford Bridge.
Awful.
Yeah.
It was.
Because and it's been like it for a long time now. It's not just like this season. It's not just because of Maresca. It's been bad for a while. And that's not a knock on like the fans at Stamford Bridge, or whatever. Like, you do when you go to a football game, that's fine, no problem. But it just there's no intensity there. There's no fear there now when teams come to us. Like it's same as Old Trafford now. That there's no one fears going to Old Trafford. I remember back in the day, people used to fear against Stamford Bridge. Mourinho went on that unbelievable run, like 84 games, whatever. It was a fortress. Now it isn't. Now we're better away from home, and it wouldn't surprise me if we go and beat Bournemouth 2 or 3-0 when we play them in a couple of weeks' time. Something that has to change, and I know they're trying to get a singing section, which they do at the Emirates now, I think. And to be fair, they sound a lot better. And I'm not saying be like Arsenal, but we need something to get beyond the team because there's a lot of negativity as well at the minute, which is just it ain't going to help anyone out. Something needs to happen. Something needs to change, and there just needs to be something to get the players going. Because when there's deathly silence or where there's nothing, the players won't play. They just won't. They won't react. Hearing like people cheer you on automatically as a human will spur you on to be a better player. Chris has played football before. You can hear people cheering on the sidelines when you score a goal, do this, do that. It does spur you on. And when there's nothing, when it's flat, it hinders more than anything. And that's why.
Don't be daft. It's better to boo them because then they go, I'm being booed. I'm going to play better. That's what we're going to do.
Listen, the way I see it, if you paid for a ticket, right, you can do whatever you like. But if you sit there for 90 minutes with your arms folded and booing the team instead of cheering them on, it says more about you than anything else. You know,
well, just don't go.
Yeah. Like, listen, I get it.
I wouldn't pay the money if I was that upset about it.
If you want to protest the owners, I get that too because they've got a lot wrong. But you can also like organise and attend and protest and stuff when like outside the bridge. You can do it even before or after games, but in the stadium for the 90 minutes, surely. Like, it's more important to support the team because all other things being equal, fan support wins games. And isn't that what we all want?
True. Right.
100%. 100%.
Chris, rounded off.
My last losers are only really quick, to be fair. João Felix. As I was watching him play, all I could think about was everything Ollie always says about him. But this was a perfect João Felix.
He was showing that a lot. That little run he went on at the end of the game, I was not even worried. I was like, this is going nowhere near the goal.
He came on, and for the first 20 minutes he was on, he was an absolute ghost. Like I literally forgot he was on the pitch. And then he had that lovely take on the halfway line where he took the ball on his back foot on the half turn, and he ran and he beat a man, and you thought, oh, that is lovely. And then he fucked up the last bit, the most important part. He gave it away. And I thought, Ollie is right about João Felix. For everything good he does something shit. I just thought it was a really poor performance from him. Like another one, really, who struggled to carry on from where he left off against Wolves, where he had a really good cameo performance. You know, got a goal, played quite well, linked with players quite well. It was a promising cameo, and then this one was just awful.
I think that's the problem with all our wingers, though, other than Cole Palmer, who's just a joke. They'll score a goal, and then the next game they'll be non-existent, or they'll miss a few chances.
Because to be fair, I thought...
Madueke did the same. He could have been the losers for me, to be fair. He was good, but he missed he missed two clear-cut chances, didn't he?
Do you know what? I nearly put him on my losers because I thought he missed the best chances of the game. I thought he missed them. And he did make a lot of poor decisions on the ball, I thought. So he has been quite lucky to escape the losers list.
Well, emojis. I've become Chris. I'm shrugging. I'm like, what do you expect?
I'm actually going with the applause emoji. And the reason I am is because... Despite the result, which I'm sure we can all agree is not what we wanted, I actually thought the performance overwhelmingly, at least in the first half and for a bit of the second half, was good. And that's something to build on.
Yeah, I agree with that, to be fair, because I actually thought, for the most part, we actually played all right. It's just typical Chelsea, really.
We just weren't clinical.
Typical Chelsea, isn't it, really? So I'm going to go for, don't know how you explain it. It's the emoji where he's got like his hand on his chin and his finger pointing up. Like a sort of a quizzical look on his face.
Like the thinker.
Good, but also shit. So that one.
Chris.
I want to go with the eyes roll. Because
fair enough. Yeah.
Well, I do agree with what Ollie and Bertha just said. For the large part of the game, we did play quite well. It's a results business, and we didn't get the result. And then, to be honest with you, Maresca's comment after the game is what I rolled my eyes at the most, where he said about
I know what you mean.
sometimes we might have to accept losing now, and it's like, well, right, thanks for that, mate.
Oh, it's that mentality thing again,
To be
isn't
fair,
it?
we didn't lose. We just didn't win.
Yeah, did you hear him after?
Yeah, it was
about that the people are judging us by where Chelsea used to be, and that's not where we are now. And sometimes you might have to accept that we won't win.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
I'll
Cheers.
do that.
Woo!
Yeah.
And then that's what I mean. And then
Cheers, mate. I'm all right now.
at Stamford Bridge.
I'm all on
No
board.
wonder they're fucking quiet.
You know what it reminds me of? That sort of comment reminded me of like a Tottenham manager.
Yeah, it's very Spursy, that, isn't it?
It is very Spursy, isn't it? That comment.
The history of the Tottenham. Right. we look back, don't we, on the best Lion of the Week picks that we could have had. Chris, he had Nicolas Jackson, which I think he's probably won it here. Ollie had Cole Palmer, though. Wheel went with Mark Goo. And as Chris nice one, Wheel. Yeah, the wheel screwed up there.
Wheel was fucked.
I had Felix, who I can't for the life of me advocate that I deserve to win it this week. It's
definitely not.
It's Jackson or Palmer for me. I think Jackson.
I think Jackson, because he got a goal.
He's the reason
Jackson.
we drew the game, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Chris is on 2 now. Nice.
I
Well
would
done,
like to
Chris.
say also that I think after Jackson, I think the next shout should have been Caicedo.
Who do you think was the actual Lion? We always do it. Now.
I think it was Caicedo personally.
I would agree.
I think it was him or Jackson. I still don't think there's much in it. Or Colwell. Maybe Colwell. I thought Colwell.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout. Colwell was very good.
Yeah.
Who were going Caicedo, Colwell? Who do we think?
I think Colwell personally. I think Colwell.
I've got Caicedo.
I'd go Caicedo, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I would just edge it.
Well,
Caicedo.
I've been outnumbered then.
You've been outnumbered 3-1. Right, we move to questions then as I get my phone out and I get the screenshot. That's how I do it. So, well, Molly said, whoever predicted an Olympic celebration in the pre-season predictions pod. I did that. What's happened?
That was you, Mikey.
What happened?
Did that happen?
Did that happen? Someone needs to tell me if that happened.
Yeah, someone needs to let us know now.
Oh my
Yeah,
word.
What was the
Discord people-
celebration?
I
What was
don't
that
know.
celebration? Yeah. What?
I need to find out.
Unless it's like, is it like someone did the Usain Bolt one?
It's still
Or
Olympics. Oh, anyway.
Yeah, it would count. Yeah.
Tell me, Zaka said, why didn't we win? I don't know.
What was it?
Because we didn't score a second goal.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
Yeah, mentality, wrong subs, missed chances. Chelsea.
No Lorsko has asked Gusto or Kukure inverted. I've said Kukure.
Yeah, Kukure is better.
Yeah, it's got to be Kukure.
Yeah, Kukure is better.
Josh, why do people always online blame the officiating when we have close results like this?
Easy excuse. To be fair, I know it was bad, but it's an easy excuse to make.
Yeah,
It's an easy way to totally excuse the performance.
And Alexander, do you guys think we'll ever have that clinical nature in front of goal?
Yes,
I think so.
To be fair, I read a stat earlier.
We have Palmer.
I read a stat earlier that at home this year, we've scored more than anyone has in the top 5 leagues, which I think is a pretty good stat. That's pretty clinical.
I actually think a lot of our fans really overrate the quality of the chances we create, and then they like to bash us like, oh, we miss so many chances. And then you look at the chances and you think that's a half chance at best, so you can't count that. Like, I hear some people going, look at that, we created 12 chances against Crystal Palace, and it's like, no, we had 12 shots. It's not the same.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what the problem is.
We had 12 shots and 3 of them were good.
I'll tell you what the problem is as well.
2 of them were saved. We scored once.
The big problem is that freak at Man City who just scores goal after goal after goal after
yeah,
goal.
he's ruined everyone
he's
else's perception of reality.
Really hard to get another good striker because Jackson's numbers aren't bad. Harry Kane scored 30 goals in the Premier League season.
And nobody gave a shit.
Yeah, people probably get called in waster because he didn't score 45 goals like that robot does for Man City.
That's true.
Yeah, that reality bending freak.
We will finish off with Ross Turnbull's Tenaball and the category. Oh, I've aced it. The category is the United States because I want you to work together to name the 10 US states that contain either the letter U or X in their name. There are 10. Oh,
Utah.
Yeah, that's on there.
Louisiana.
Texas.
Yeah, you got 3 so far. I should really highlight
New
this,
Mexico.
Yeah. We said Texas.
Albuquerque is in the state, isn't it?
That
Yeah,
is not
that's
a
in
state.
that's a city in New Mexico.
Yeah, I thought it was. Yeah. What? So what are the letters? X, U,
Massachusetts.
Yes.
Chris, Missouri.
Yes. You've got 4 left.
Connecticut.
That is on there. Yeah, you got 3.
Nice.
So is it O, X, and U?
No, U or X.
U or X? Oh yeah, that's got U in it. Bad maths, bad English then.
There must be another one with X.
No, they're all U's.
All U's.
Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it.
South Dakota.
There you go.
Oh, well done, Chris. Well done, Chris.
South Carolina.
Yeah, that's the other one.
Yeah, well done. So one more.
Yeah, I think this one's pretty easy.
I'm trying to go in a map in my head.
Yeah.
I'm trying to just go for the alphabet.
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Oh,
There you go.
nice,
well done, Ali.
nice.
We smashed that, by the way.
We smashed that.
Beautifully done. If for
Good at the
listeners,
geography, aren't we?
for listeners
Yeah,
who
we
were
love it.
curious, I have now sent Molly a message on our Instagram to say about the Olympics because I really want to know if I've. There's no way I've got 2 in a row. No, after the aliens one, no. We'll see. We'll find out Friday or Thursday, whichever. So, and that's us. Thank you for listening. Treat yourself well. We're back Thursday or Friday, how we feel. I don't know. But it's going to be player ratings. We got more players to choose from this year. Yeah, I tell you what, when we started I was tempted last season when we started it to actually do a ranking of all our players. I'm so fucking glad we don't.
Yeah,
Did we
top
do,
40.
Top
What-
40.
Like the UK chart.
Yeah.
The Chelsea top 40. What are we doing? Top 10, top 15?
What do we think? We've got 15 usually, but what do we
I mean, we could let the people decide. Stick it in a poll in the Discord or
We
something.
could let the people decide, yeah. That's a good shout, Ali.
Yeah, I'll put it on the Discord, see what people say. Yeah, we'll do that.
It's up to you, listeners.
Yeah, it's up to you. So, and if you're not on the Discord, join it. It's there. It's always in the description on each episode. Join, enjoy. It's a great community. Right. With that, thank you. Treat yourself well. We'll be back later on in the week. And that's us signing off. You've been listening to At The Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram by searching for At The Bridge Pod. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, leaving us a review is always appreciated.